Hey guys, welcome to an overview of beta patch 17 for Total War Rome 2. I had no idea that another patch for Rome 2 was coming, and this news just made my day. Rome 2 is still my favorite Total War game, so I was very excited when I saw this coming, of course. This is a large patch that changes major things for factions and units, but most of all for the game in general. This overview only discusses the beta version of this patch. Things might change when the real patch 17 comes out for everyone. A link to the full patch notes is in the description. I will simply go over the most important stuff in this one. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So here we are on the main menu, and the first change is already here. It's very small, but in my opinion very good. You can now change the background to whatever one you like. That means all the DLC ones, but also the original Rome 2 one, my favorite. Very small, but a very useful change in my opinion. So besides this small change, there were also a lot of changes to units and unit balancing, units, well, basically the buildings where you can recruit units. So for the full list, just check out the patch notes, but there are just things like Massalia can now recruit their Greek ships. Some missing units you couldn't recruit in a campaign, like the Colchian nobles, they can now be recruited from a tier 4 building. The Seleucids now have access to their Seleucid variant of Eastern Spearmen, not the Eastern one. They can't recruit Greek slingers anymore. The Romans have had some price reductions to legionary cavalry, etc, etc, etc. Roxolani can recruit Royal Sarmatian Lancers as a general unit. Things like that all over the place. There are some changes, both in campaign or in custom battles. Some are a bit bigger, some are very small. I advise you to check out the patch notes, link in the description. The last small change I want to discuss with you guys is on the campaign map. After this we'll get to the interesting stuff. And that's related to garrisons. You may know that there were two major problems with garrisons. The first one was sometimes if you upgraded a building you would get a smaller garrison or something like that. Really weird. Those things have been fixed. And the garrisons were also very imbalanced. Some factions had a big garrison, and some factions had almost no garrison at all, like the Odrysian Kingdom over here. They also tried to balance that a little out, so garrisons are now more balanced and fixed in terms of when you upgrade a building you will get a better garrison, or at least the same garrison. So the next changes I want to discuss with the start of the Egyptian campaign basically. First of all, the zone of control, as you can see the red radius next to cities and next to armies has been decreased. It's almost like twice as, I think it's went from like 5 to 3.5, so that's quite a significant decrease, which is better. You can now go around cities a bit more. It's a bit more strategic, a tactical change. The more important thing though is related to resources, and this is probably changed because of Attila as well. As you may have known, I made a video about resources in Attila, and resources in Attila are very useful. They give you big bonuses for sometimes faction wise, sometimes for the province only, but they really matter. You really need to try to go for those provinces with resources in them to benefit from those bonuses. Rome 2 didn't have that at all. I never paid attention to resources when conquering a settlement. All resources now have their own unique faction wide bonus. So when you get a new resource from a building you own, you will get a faction-wide bonus, and all the bonuses for all the different resources are on the screen right now. As an example, like this, the Egyptians start out over here with iron, an iron workshop as you can see. Normally you could then upgrade your units like this in that province, but you needed to maneuver your armies to the specific province to be able to upgrade them. That is now faction-wide. As you can see, this army is not in the same province, no iron over here, but you can still upgrade them and new units are still upgraded. So all the bonuses have been made either bigger and faction wide. So resources matter now. You need to go for the resources to get those bonuses. For example here, grain plus 10% wealth from farming, faction wide that is. So every building is now faction, every resource has a faction wide bonus you can benefit from. The last change I want to show to you guys is related to the faction traits. As you may have known, Rome 2's faction traits are kind of terrible. They do not matter that much. They only give you small bonuses, but they don't make the different factions unique from each other. After Attila, They probably now decided to do the same as they did in that game, because Attila's traits are amazing in my opinion. They all give each faction a very unique personality because they really matter. Now all the factions in Rome 2 also have way better traits and way more specific and faction unique. So I will show you a couple of these. A full list of all these traits in all campaigns can be found in the patch notes again in the description. For example, the Romans now have plus 15% movement range and plus 2 recruitment slots. But the difference between the families is even insane right now. You can or get with the Julii plus 6 to cultural conversion, plus 15% melee attack during battles against barbarian tribes. Or you could go for the public order bonus maximum of 6 from presence of Latin culture and plus 30% wealth from agriculture buildings. In the vanilla game this was like 10% max. And the House of Cornelia, minus 50% upkeep cost for all auxiliary units and minus 50% public order penalties due to the presence of foreign cultures. Insane. The Eastern Empires, another example. Secret police, increased defense against agents in all provinces. That's just insane. The Germanic tribes, the Suebi, Terrors of the Night, can always choose to fight night battles. It's just insane. If we take a look at, let's take a look at the Greek faction, Sparta. Plus 3 experience ranks for Spartan infantry recruits. Athens gets plus 3 experience rank for Athenian ship recruits. Just insane faction traits over here will all make the factions very unique. The Seleucids, increased number of levy units available from satrapies. As said, a full list of those is in the patch notes in the description, but in my opinion this is one of the best changes we could get for the campaign, because now your faction is way more unique and you can really focus on one part of the game. For example, if you're playing with Egypt, you get plus 20% research rate and 1 food in all regions. You also get a minus 50% resistance to foreign occupation, so you don't really have to focus on food, and you don't really have to focus on research rate with the Egyptians, because your faction trait will already give you those. So that's really cool in my opinion. That's the last change I want to go over with you guys. Hope you enjoyed this little video. I didn't have a lot of time to put it together, but I hope you found it useful. Check out the links in the description for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.